Hi everyone, this is Frank Demore again with the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, and today's December 7th. And I have a host of information for you. But if you just found my YouTube channel, I would like to invite you to go to my prophecy site, which you'll see here in the background in red, BibleProphecyMan.com. And for those who are brand new, just scroll down at my website and you'll see the front and back cover of my book, and below it you're going to find a link. Now this is from January 7th of 2011 edition, and the only reason why you see that is because I'm going to give you some information that I gave to you in January of this year. But when you go to my website, obviously it's going to be up to date and you'll see December 7th. But please take advantage of this free download, and I can guarantee you this. You look on the marketplace today for any prophecy book out there, and I can assure you you're going to find more evidence and documentation in this book. And here's the deal. You're going to get it for free. Nobody's going to ask you for anything. No strings attached. This is my gift to you because the Lord has completely blessed the ministry. He's speaking to people about the ministry, and we never have to charge anyone for anything. I want to make that clear. So if anybody says that Frank Demore is selling his books, I can guarantee that's a lie. I've never sold one book, and if anybody ever sells a book and I find about it, believe me, there'll be trouble. So it's a free ministry. Take advantage of the free ministry. Now, what I'd like to do is from this January 31st, 2011 date, I want to go down and show you what I wrote concerning the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, when you look at Psalm 83, for those of you who may be new, I know I've covered this many times, but I have a lot of new people coming to my site all the time. The Psalm 83 is a war that hasn't been fought yet. And what I did is I give you a list of the names. You'll see 1 through 10, and each name is in the Old Testament, and then I'll tell you who they are from the New Testament. For example, when you look at number 4 that I showed you yesterday, that's the Hagarenes, an Old Testament name. But modern day names, we know them as the Egyptians, all right? Very important for you to understand that. So you could take a look at the list. You could read Psalm 83. It'll tell you that they're going to come together, counsel themselves together, thinking that they're going to wipe Israel out so that their name isn't mentioned anymore. In other words, wipe them off the map. It won't happen. We know that from Psalm 83. Now, getting back to what I was warning you about this and concerning Egypt, this is something that I wrote. I just want to quote what I wrote in my warning. Many of you may not realize what is happening in Egypt could be playing a major role in what will happen in the near future concerning the war we see in Psalm 83. As you will see from the reports below, many of the nations who are listed to come against Israel are in the process of changing. If you didn't know, Egypt is named as one of the nations who will be attacking Israel, and this nation is not only fulfilling Matthew 24:7, where Christ warned of civil unrest, kingdom against kingdom, but change in the government could cause a swing, forming an unfriendly government towards Israel, and Israel is concerned about it. And then I quote a statement from Israel. But one of the things that I did warn in my post is that the Muslim Brotherhood, as we know it now, and when I saw it in January, I knew that there was going to be major problems, and because of what Psalm 83 says, and I knew that the peace agreement between Israel and Egypt would have to fall away if Israel was going to be attacked by Egypt as one of those nations. So in my warnings, not only in my warnings of the January 31st post, but also in my warnings, many posts after that, trying to keep you up to speed. Please pay attention to the peace process. Who's going to be put in the Egyptian government after they get rid of Mubarak, which they already did. So knowing that, let me go into this next, I'm going to take you in a concession of reports to show you what's happening. Now, as you can see here, the date here, and now my warning was already gone out based on Scripture. And look at this headline: the Muslim Brotherhood wants to end Egypt-Israeli peace deal. So this was a major sign of the last days, because the peace agreement between Egypt and Israel was holding up until January. And now all of a sudden we see Mubarak is going to be ousted out. He's already ousted out. These new elections are coming, and what I warned you is taking place. So it says Egypt's banner Muslim Brotherhood movement has revealed its plans to scrap the peace treaty with Israel if it comes into power. All right, that's the first thing that I want you to understand. It says, after President Mubarak steps down, and of course we know he didn't step down, he was thrown out, and a provisional government is formed, there is need to dissolve the peace treaty with Israel. All right, this is what they said. Now, for those of you who don't know when this peace treaty started, they give you a little of insight. It says Egypt was the first Arab country to officially recognize Israel and sign a peace agreement with Israel, with the Israeli government, in 1979. It also was a major mediator between Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Muslim Brotherhood has recently come into light amid mass anti-government protests in Egypt. Some media voiced concerns that the banned Islamic movement could eventually take power in the riot-hit Arab country. Now, this is what I warned was going to happen. And there were some other people in the news thought that this could happen, but based on what I know from Scripture, I knew it had to happen. Now, so with that, let me move up to another date here, and you'll see this is December, only 3 days ago, 2011. Egypt election results deepen Israeli fears. All right, so we're going through this line of progression to show you that the road to Psalm 83 is actually being fulfilled. And it says, for Israelis, the Islamic election surge in Egypt is depressing confirmation of the deeply primal fear, and inhospitable region is becoming more hostile still. This sentiment has been accompanied by the bittersweet sense that Israel was dismissed as an alarmist when it warned months ago that the Arab Spring, widely perceived as doing of liberals yearning to be free, could lead to Islamic governments. And we know that that's the direction that it's going. It says, speaking for most people here, Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak calling for the emerging result of the first round of parliamentary voting in Egypt very, very disturbing, and expressed concern about the fate of the landmark 1979 Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty. So you have the defense minister worried about what was going to happen to this peace treaty that was signed by Egypt. It says, expert here, as elsewhere, point out that the political Islam comes in various shades of green. The Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt has about 10% lead over the more radical Sharifists, and appears to be less eager to impose devout lifestyle or seek conflict. But we know exactly what's going to happen, and so let us take a look. Now, this is today's news, right? Talking about who's going to take over the government. Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood claims wins in the runoff votes. The Muslim Brotherhood has said its political party has won a majority of the runoff contest in the first round of Egypt's parliamentary election. Official results are not expected until Thursday, but the Freedom and Justice Party said that it won 36 of the 56 seats awarded to individuals. So you can read the rest of this if you want, but here's the bottom line. The people that I said were going to go in are actually headed to do exactly just that. I I know scriptures. I know where it's going to be heading because the Lord already told us. So all you have to do is put two to two together and you'll know that the enemy of God, the enemy of Israel, will be put in place to the country that God said they will attack Israel in the last days as one of the countries of the Psalm 83 war. So knowing that, let's again move up. Now, there's some other interesting news of yesterday. We see the contentions between the Palestinians, the Hamas, the Fatah, and all these different Palestinian groups who hate Israel. And Israel expels the Hamas, their PM, from Jerusalem. Israel has expelled a senior MP from the Palestinian Islamic group Hamas from Jerusalem on the grounds that he is living in the city illegally. And all this is going to do is raise tensions. And these are the birth pangs that we're going to bring on this Psalm 83 war. Now, let me go into this. This is a scripture. You'll see it in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. And it is a warning. It says this: "And you shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars or gates." Now, this is a prophecy, Ezekiel chapter 38, about another war, the war that will take place after the Psalm 83 war. And what it tells us is there's not going to be any bars or gates at all. Now, this is a helicopter ride, a tour over West Bank and Israel. I'm going to start this up, and I'll stop it and give you some insights on why I'm giving you this.
Into the air in a helicopter to get an idea of the geography of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Beneath me here is the green line, the dividing line between Israel on the left and the Palestinian territories out here to the east. Below me here, I can actually...
Now, I'm going to stop it for a second, but do you see this right here? This is a wall. This is about a 20-foot high wall that expands 320 miles into Israel, and it separates the Jews from the Palestinians. All right? This is the wall. Now, remember, in the Ezekiel war, we were told, in that Ezekiel war, let me go back just to refresh your mind here, we are told that there will not be any bars, gates, or walls. So what we're seeing here is we have the bars, gates, or walls. Now this tells us when the Psalm 83 war happens, because the Lord told us that it will happen when they're calling for peace and safety, sudden destruction comes. So as long as this wall is up, we know that the first war, the Psalm 83 war, has to be fulfilled first. And then once Israel defeats their enemies, they're going to feel secure, and I believe that it will be at this time that this wall will come down. And then the Ezekiel war can happen, because it says it'll happen when there's no bars, gates, or walls.
See what the Palestinians call the dividing wall and what the Israelis call the security barrier. To the left here, I can see the blue waters of the Mediterranean Sea just 20 kilometers away. It gives you an idea of just how narrow Israel is at this point. But the thing we've really come up here to see, the thing that is now at the center of negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians, is the issue of Jewish settlements inside the West Bank.
All right, so they're talking about the Jewish settlements, and he's going to point out all the houses that are being built over here. Now, I want to bring you to my book, and I want to show you some scriptures. Please go to Zechariah chapter 14, verses 10 and 11. You'll see it in Isaiah chapter 44, verses 24b through 26. And these are prophecies that in the last days, guess what? The cities will be rebuilt. Now, when Israel became a nation again in 1948, the land was sitting barren. It was neglected for a very, very long time, and as Israel became a nation, they started to build the cities to the point where it is right now. So this is, again, another reason why I'm showing you this, because that prophecy has also been fulfilled.
And on the hill behind me here, you can see the settlement of Alfei Menashe.
So there are so many prophecies linked, and all of these things tell us that the Lord is coming back very soon.